Imagine a vast continent, rich in gold, silver, and stories older than time. A land where the natural beauty is as diverse as its people, stretching from the towering peaks of the Andes to the dense, mysterious depths of the Amazon rainforest. This was South America in the 18th century, a land of immense potential and untapped resources. But it wasn't a land of freedom. It was a land under the heavy yoke of colonial rule. Spain, a powerful European empire, ruled with an iron fist. The Spanish crown imposed its will across the continent, extracting wealth and resources while subjugating the local populations. Imagine being told what to do, what to think, even what to believe, all because you were born in a different part of the world. The Spanish authorities controlled every aspect of life, from the economy to religion, leaving little room for personal freedom or cultural expression. This was the reality for millions of people living under Spanish colonial rule. Indigenous communities, African slaves, and even those of mixed heritage faced oppression and exploitation. They yearned for liberty, for the right to govern themselves, to shape their own destiny. In secret gatherings and whispered conversations, the seeds of revolution were sown. But how could they possibly challenge a mighty empire? The odds seemed insurmountable, the risks too great, yet the desire for freedom burned brightly in their hearts. It seemed an impossible dream. The Spanish Empire was vast and powerful, its armies well trained and equipped. But the human spirit is resilient, and hope can be a powerful force. Yet, even in the darkest of times, hope flickers. A single spark can ignite a fire, and a single voice can inspire a movement. Deep within the heart of the continent, a storm was brewing, a storm that would shake the foundations of Spanish power. The winds of change were beginning to blow, and the call for independence grew louder. And at the center of this storm stood a man of extraordinary vision, courage, and ambition, Simón Bolívar. Bolivar would become the symbol of hope and the driving force behind the quest for liberation, leading his people towards a new dawn of freedom and self-determination. Born into a wealthy aristocratic family in Caracas, Venezuela, Simón Bolívar could have lived a life of privilege and ease. His family was one of the wealthiest and most influential in the region, owning vast estates and numerous slaves. He had it all: a grand name, inherited wealth, access to the finest education. Bolívar was sent to the best schools, where he was taught by renowned tutors who instilled in him a love for learning and a curiosity about the world. Yet young Simón was different. Unlike many of his peers, he was not content with the status quo. He questioned the world around him and sought to understand the deeper truths of life. He possessed a restless spirit, a thirst for knowledge that extended far beyond the confines of his privileged upbringing. Bolívar spent countless hours in his family's library, immersing himself in the works of great thinkers and philosophers. As a young boy, he devoured books on philosophy, history, and politics, his mind ignited by the ideas of Enlightenment thinkers like Locke and Rousseau. These ideas challenged the traditional notions of power and governance that Bolívar had grown up with. These writings spoke of liberty, equality, and the rights of man, concepts that resonated deeply within him. Bolívar began to see the world through a new lens, one that valued human dignity and freedom above all else. Bolívar couldn't ignore the injustice around him, the plight of his people, the heavy hand of Spanish rule. He saw the suffering of the indigenous people and the mestizos, who were treated as second-class citizens in their own land. He witnessed firsthand the stark contrast between the lavish lives of Spanish officials and the poverty endured by the indigenous population and those of mixed heritage. This disparity troubled him deeply and fueled his growing sense of injustice. The seeds of revolution were sown. Bolívar's experiences and the ideas he had absorbed from his readings began to coalesce into a vision for a free and independent South America. Bolívar, fueled by a burning desire for justice and inspired by the ideals of liberty, resolved to fight for a free and independent South America. He knew that this path would not be easy, but he was determined to dedicate his life to the cause. His journey, however, would be fraught with danger, demanding every ounce of his courage, intellect, and resilience. Bolívar would face numerous challenges and setbacks, but his unwavering commitment to his vision would drive him forward, shaping him into one of history's greatest liberators. The death of his beloved wife, Maria Teresa, shattered Bolívar's world. Her passing left a void in his heart, a void that could only be filled by a cause greater than himself. Grief-stricken, he vowed to dedicate his life to liberating South America from Spanish rule. This promise became his guiding star, a beacon of hope in his darkest hours. He embarked on a journey across Europe, seeking support for his revolutionary cause. Bolívar knew that to succeed, he needed more than just passion. He needed allies, knowledge, and inspiration. In Paris, he witnessed the grandeur of Napoleon's empire. but also the dangers of unchecked ambition. The city was a melting pot of ideas, a place where dreams of liberty and equality were fervently discussed. He met with prominent intellectuals and revolutionaries, engaging in passionate debates about liberty, equality, and the rights of man. These discussions fueled his resolve, providing him with new perspectives and strategies. He climbed the steps of the Roman Forum, imagining himself standing where Caesar once stood, and vowed to achieve greatness for his own people. The ancient ruins whispered tales of past glories and future possibilities. Bolivar's travels weren't just about gathering allies and support, they were a journey of self-discovery. Each city, each conversation, each historical site added layers to his understanding of leadership and revolution. He honed his strategic thinking, his understanding of politics, and his ability to inspire and lead. Bolivar's vision for a free South America became clearer and more defined with each passing day. He returned to South America in 1807, transformed from a grieving widower into a determined revolutionary, ready to ignite the flames of independence that had been smoldering for centuries. Bolivar was no longer just a man. He was a symbol of hope and resilience for an entire continent,